Hey everybody, what is up? It's me, Hannes here. So you might have noticed me being, or rather not noticed me being anywhere for the last couple of months. That's because I've been super busy with work. I've been moving into this new place and just things have been super hectic. Last time I posted, it was probably 2 months ago to Instagram, so I'm kind of curious what will happen if I now start posting again, and yeah, let's see how it works, what it does to my engagement, and how the follower growth is decreasing or increasing, and let's see what will happen. Anyway, this video will be a bit different from what I've done previously, because mostly I've been talking about marketing, specifically Instagram marketing, and so on, but this time I wanted to try something different, and I decided to do a quick review, or rather share my experience of switching from an Android to an iOS, the new iPhone 11, and what is my experience. Now, in the end of 2019, I was planning to make a switch from one phone to another. I've been using Android phones for my whole life. I really like the Android ecosystem, the Play Store, all the Google native apps and so on, and I wasn't really sure what kind of phone I'm gonna get next. I was really looking forward to the Samsung S10 and Note 10 release. When I first saw them, I tried them out. They didn't seem like anything majorly has changed with my current phone, so I was kind of like pushing it forward and like not buying the phone yet. Then I was really looking forward to the Google Pixel 4 launch, and to be honest, the reviews that I saw online and also the launch event of Google didn't really get me excited to get the phone. So I decided to do something completely different that I had in mind, and I went ahead and bought myself an iPhone. So this is my first iPhone. It's iPhone 11, not 11 Pro or 11 Pro Max. And yeah, this is my first iOS device. So in this video, I'm gonna share you the experience that I had moving from Android to iPhone, as something I've never touched around myself personally. So this year, Apple introduced us 3 new phones: the iPhone 11, the iPhone 11 Pro, and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. So the main difference between the iPhone 11 and the Pro is that the Pro has an additional camera, which is a telephoto camera, so you can zoom in even more and get a bit closer to your objects with camera, and also it has a better screen, or rather I would say different screen. So it uses OLED technology instead of the typical LCD on this one. So since I'm not watching so many videos on my screen, and I don't really mind moving closer to the object myself rather than the zoom in, I decided to go with the iPhone 11 instead of the Pro, and also because the price difference was about like 400 to 500 euros, so which is like almost the price of a new Android phone on the market. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna go with the Pro, I'm gonna go with the regular one for now. Anyway, so here's my first impressions and my experiences as a lifelong Android user moving to an iOS device, and what are some of the things that I find really annoying, like just being on the first week with iPhone, and some things that I really like on the iOS operating system compared to the Android. So the first days were a bit weird because I was moving from Samsung S8, which is rather slim phone, rather thin phone, and it has really small bezels. It has this overhead top, which is like some bezel there, but overall the screen itself is really nice. If I were just to show you the two with screens on, you can see that there's a significant difference. I don't know if you can see or not, but this one actually feels a much more premium and newer phone, so to say, than the iPhone 11. The iPhone 11 is more bulkier. It has larger bezels, and it has the notch, so to say. This one doesn't have a notch, but it has the forehead, I guess. Although I never had the notch, so I don't mind the notch. I'm still new to the notch, so I'm gonna figure out if I love it or not. But yeah, those are like the first impressions that I got for the phone. And also, so what is weird with the camera is that it's not on the same panel as the back end. So if you put it on the table, then you know, it's not gonna be steadily there as my Android Samsung phone would be, which is all with iPhones. But I'm gonna get myself a case anyway, because this is really slippery phone, and if I'm gonna use it with my gloves on, I'm gonna drop this thing. So I'm gonna use a case for that. So hopefully this won't be an issue further down the road. Now, after a week using an iPhone, I found few things that are extremely annoying for me, and maybe this says something that I will get used to it at some point, but for now it just doesn't work that well for me. So the first thing is that, actually this is the first annoying thing that I got when I got the phone, was that how do you shut down the phone? So normally you would, you know, hold down the lock button and you'll get this thing on a screen that you want to shut down, restart or whatever. With iPhone, I got Siri open with that, so it didn't work. So I actually had to go to Google and Google like, how do you turn off your iPhone? So this has never happened to me with a smartphone. I consider myself quite tech savvy, and yeah, I couldn't figure it out how to do it. Apparently there's a way that you go to your settings, you go to your settings and you go to general, and then you scroll down and there's a shutdown button, but come on. Now the second weird thing is that whenever you are within an app and you want to do some, you know, you want to customize the settings or anything like that, usually there is no settings on that app. On the app itself, you have to go back to all the application screen. You have to go to settings and then find this particular app that you want to change the settings for. So this is again completely different from an Android device, where you open the app and usually have settings on each app inside the app. You don't have to go outside of the app to change the settings of this particular app, but you can change them in the app, which is again weird, and I just have to get used to it. Now the third annoying thing was the swipe actions, and to be more precise, the unlock swipe. So with an Android, I guess it can also differ from what the Android device you're using. So for this Samsung S8 phone, I would tap the unlock screen and then swipe up from anywhere from the screen. I'll get this pattern unlock screen, or I can use my fingerprint to unlock it, and there you go. With iPhone, actually, I can do the same, I can swipe up, but the crazy thing is that I can't swipe up from the middle of the screen. I have to swipe up from the bottom of the screen, which is, yeah, kind of, I mean, I guess it's not a big deal, but it's just, again, something that I have to get used to. So, yeah, there it is. Now, when it comes to unlocking, I gotta say I'm really loving the Face ID on the iPhone, because it's really fast, it's really accurate. I can even like look it like this way and it still unlocks and works perfectly, so I don't have to put in any patterns or password or anything, and it just works really well. There are a couple of times when it's like pitch black and it's just really dark, and I'm like looking at my phone on this. Maybe it's like in the morning when I want to put off some alarm clock or just browse around, then I have to put in the password. Yeah, sure, that's fine. But with my Android phone, I had like a couple of options, of course. There is the iris scan, so it will scan your eyes and open it up, which usually doesn't work for me for some reason. Then I had a finger open, which I used to use a lot, but not so much anymore. But as you can see, it works really well if I just tap it and it's open, so it's really fast, really good. But usually the way I opened it was that I press the unlock screen and I would swipe up, and then I would put in the pattern that I'm gonna use. Or also Samsung has this face recognition, which works when it's really bright as it is at the moment. It works perfectly, so if I were just to show you that I'm gonna unlock the screen, I'll watch it and it's open. So it's pretty good, and basically it works as fast as iPhone's Face ID, but it has to be very good conditions in order for it to work. Now the fourth annoying thing about iPhone was that whenever I picked up the phone, the screen would light up, and I guess there's this feature that, you know, wake when you pick up the phone. I don't have this feature on Samsung. Maybe there's an app for it, I don't know, I haven't checked. But I like to sometimes just, you know, hand around the phone. I don't want the screen to, you know, light up if I just move around the phone. But with iPhone, it was always the case that whenever I would pick it up, it would automatically light up, which I didn't really like. So I had to turn this thing off. Luckily, there's an option to turn that off, and now I can, you know, move around the Okay, now I turn on, but now I can basically turn around the phone, and the screen will stay dark, which I like. Maybe some people don't, but for me personally, coming from an Android, I find this pretty good. And lastly, something that really annoys me still to this day, I haven't really figured this out. Maybe there's a way to do that if you're an hardcore iPhone user and fan, you know how to fix this thing or how to customize it, then please do let me know. I would really appreciate that. Is that with an Android phone, every click, everything that I type in has this vibration. So whenever I click something, I get a small vibration, kind of giving me this feeling that I actually pressed something. With iPhone, I don't have that. So I tried to go through all the settings, all the different sound options, vibration options, haptic touch options, whatever, and there's no option for that. After googling around, I found out that you can get a Google keyboard for your iPhone, which now I have, and now whenever I type something, I do get these like vibrations, which I really like. But still, whenever I open an app or browse around in app settings, I don't have this vibration. So this is really something that I have to get used to, because I'm so used to that whenever I press something, I get the vibration. It gets me this sense of actually pressing something, which I really love on my Android device, but I don't have it yet here. So maybe I'll figure out how to add this, but right now it's just something I just have to live with it, and hopefully I get used to it. And now I don't know if this is somewhat related or not, but a lot of the things on the iPhone screen are really small. So I actually have to go to the settings to increase the size of fonts and everything, but still there are like some things that are really small. So some things now are really big, so I like that, but other things are really small, and I end up from time to time not like pressing the thing exactly, so I have to press many times or like tap many times on a back button or some other setting button within the app. So this is really confusing for me. Like the ratio between like small fonts and big fonts is like way off, at least in my opinion, coming from an Android. I never had this problem on an Android phone. Everything is just like the way it should be from like out of the box. But with iPhone, the default settings that I had for font sizes was way too small for a lot of the apps, and if I increase it, in some cases it's like really big, so I can live with that, but still some things are quite small. So yeah, I just have to again get used to it, I guess. Now, it's not all bad. Here are 5 things that I really like about the iPhone after using it for 1 week. So the first thing I want to emphasize is the battery. The phone itself is a lot thicker. I mean, not like a lot thicker, but a little bit thicker than my Samsung was, and I don't mind that. The phones can be thicker. I have no problems with that. And the cool thing about it is that right now it's evening time as I'm filming this, and I have 54% of battery left from this morning, and I've been watching YouTube videos, browsing on the internet, using camera, shooting 4K videos. It's really good. The battery is amazing. Or my Samsung battery has just worn out and it's just not that great, because with this guy I remember getting around like half a day of battery, also doing the same thing, watching YouTube, using camera and so on, snapping videos for my Instagram followers and so on. So when I arrived to my office, I usually had to put this thing on a charge to use it also in the evening. With iPhone, I could basically go 2 days without charging, so this is really good, and I really like the battery on iPhone. So the second thing is the camera, and the camera was probably one of the main selling points why I went for the iPhone, because I do a lot of videos, I do a lot of photography as well, and to have something that can shoot 4K video, 60 frames per second on all of its lenses, all of its cameras, it's really good. And there's even a quick footage of me walking my dog, so let's go and see that. Alright, so we are outside. This is the back-facing camera of new iPhone 11, or maybe not so new anymore. Yeah, so we're testing out. It's quite getting dark outside. It's not that dark yet, but it's not bright either. Sun isn't shining anymore, it's cloudy, and I'm taking a quick walk with my dog. Now, iPhone 11 does offer us this wide angle lens on so on iPhone 11 you only have two cameras, which is the wide angle and the ultra wide angle. So this one is done with the ultra wide angle, and you can probably see this thing here. So this is the gimbal I'm using at the moment. Like I said, you don't really need it because the image stabilization is really good, but you can if you want to, of course. It makes it even better. And I just try to catch my breath. I was just running. So yeah, I'm just taking a walk around this nice neighborhood, and yeah, it's I just recently moved here. It's a little bit away from the city center where I used to live. So yeah, been crazy couple of months, so haven't really been online or posting anything. So let's see if I can take up the pace again and produce some more awesome content for you guys. But yeah, this ultra wide is really good, especially like if you are in, you know, like real estate. You need to photograph a lot of rooms and apartments and so on. You know, you can make the rooms look bigger and nicer, and you know, capture a bit more on the scene. So that's good. And if you go for the iPhone 11 Pro, then you also get the telephoto lens, which you can then use to zoom in a bit more. Although I think the zoom function on the regular iPhone is also pretty good. You do get the zoom digitally, but yeah, that's fine. I mean, like, unless you want to do some crazy creepy stuff. Decided to take a few shots without the gimbal as well. So this is me just walking casually, not doing anything crazy, not shaking my hand, just doing my normal stuff. And yeah, you should be able to see some shakiness compared to the previous clip, which was filmed with the gimbal. So welcome back. I hope you have a good understanding what are some of the capabilities that you can get out of iPhone 11. So the third thing that I really like about my iPhone is the swipe up and to the right menu, which I hear now also Android has. But the way you used to do well, you can see all the open apps that you have is to basically just open the section where you have it. It's also easy because you just press one button. But with iPhone, you know, I found that whenever I'm doing a swipe up, I can either do swipe up, or I can do a swipe up to the right. So whenever I do that, I get quite easily to the apps, which yeah, I think I've already gotten used to it, so it's really good, and I like it. Now, fourthly, the thing that I haven't really used a lot, but I'm already seeing how good this thing is AirDrop. Now, Android doesn't have AirDrop. Of course, there are like multiple different apps that can do similar things, but I was just recently visiting my mom, and she's a Mac user, she's an iPhone user, and I took some pictures of her, and it was really easy for me just to go to the gallery, select multiple apps, and then share with AirDrop, and then point my device towards her laptop, her Mac, and just share the files that way. I didn't have to, you know, worry about anything about connecting with Bluetooth, being on the same Wi-Fi network or whatever. It just worked so easily and seamlessly. So this is something that I think it's really great to have, and I really hope I can use that more, because I don't own a MacBook myself. Maybe someday I will, but for now I can only use it for my other friends who use iPhones or iMacs or Pros or MacBook Pros, yeah, whatever. Now the fifth thing that I really like about this iPhone is the native calendar app and the native email app. I remember with my Android, I was always looking around like different calendar apps, different email apps, and to find one that looks nice, has all the capabilities, doesn't have any ads in them, even the paid versions. I couldn't find the right one, and which I really liked, but surprisingly, iPhone's like native email app and calendar app are really good. They're really clean, they're really minimalistic, they're really fast, and I have really nothing bad to say about them. So yeah, this is another great thing that I like about iPhone. And lastly, so it's not just 5 things, but actually I wanted to add one more thing here is the Siri. Now, of course, we had Google Now or other like for Samsung we have Bixby and other assistant AIs within our smartphones. But what was interesting with Siri and iPhone, which I never had with any smartphone, is that I was searching through my contacts to find the number for my colleague, but I didn't have that number. I didn't have his number, although I did have him as a contact. I guess from some social networks or whatever. And in the phone number section, where there wasn't a number, actually Siri, like on the go, offered me a number there, and she said, or he said, whatever, that this person has a number within this email, would you like to call that person? And she was really smart about finding that name within my emails and also read the footer of this person to add the the phone number to this contact, and I could call this person right away without actually going and find out that number. I never had this thing with Android. I'm really happy that Siri was that smart and really surprised me in a very positive way. So I was really pleasantly surprised for that. So this was it. This was my short video about sharing my experience as an Android user, as a lifetime Android user, moving to iOS operating system and iPhone, and just sharing my experience. I guess I will be making another one maybe a year from now when I'm like all used to with all the apps and all the ecosystem and everything, and share my experience, like how it has been for me, what are my takeaways, and would I consider moving back to Android or staying with the iOS iPhone operating system. I hope you found this useful. If you are an Android user and you want to move to iPhone, maybe you found some useful insights from here and have some ideas whether to move to iPhone or whether not to move to iPhone. And I know this is not probably the type of content I would normally do. I normally talk about marketing, about the Instagram marketing and other that sort of thing. So this is a new format for me. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up or like this video, and definitely leave me a comment or any other feedbacks about this video. And I'm also curious to know what you think about Android or iOS. Have you been using both of them? Are you using just one of them? If you have used both of them, what made you do the switch? And how happy you are with the switch, either from iPhone to Android or Android to iPhone. So yeah, I'm really curious to know about your opinion on this as well. And if you want to see more videos from me, definitely consider subscribing and like this video, smash the likes. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Anyway, so hit subscribe, hit the bell button, and be notified whenever I release another video. God knows when that will be, because my last video probably was from the last November, so quite some time ago, and I do try to keep this thing more active and post more videos more frequently. Anyway, so yeah, leave me your comments, hit like, and let me know if you're an iPhone user, if you're an Android user, and what has been your experience from switching one platform to another. If you have made the switch, or if you're considering making the switch, also let us know. That's very interesting to know. And until the next time, see you then. Bye.